Hello everybody. So today we're gonna present our 15 puzzle project game.
Hello, my name is Joshua Vincent, and my responsibilities for this project was project management, GitHub management, and front end and back end development.
Hello, my name is Sadi Akhtar. My responsibility of this project was front end development and back end development.
My name is Viviana Gonzalez, and I did the front end development and the back end development.
So, this is the table of content for our project. The first one is intro, followed by function, and then non-function, and then game page, the rules of the game page, and then we'll be explaining our code, and lastly, reference. So the goal of this project was to create a 15 puzzle game that the user can enjoy with various different options for puzzle they select. The content is for this game is to designed to allow user to experience the 15 puzzle and try their hard to solve it. The target audience of this game is wanting to experience 15 puzzle and work their brain to try to solve this game. Some of the function requirement includes user should be able to select their preferred puzzle to solve begin from the beginning game from the background which they select. They also should be able to select the size of the grid, which is 4 by 4, 6 by 6, 8 by 8, and finally 10 by 10. Users should be able to shuffle at any given of the game, but the timer will restart as soon if they reshuffle the game. Lastly, the user should be able to move at tiles adjust to their empty tile, which will be identifiable to as only tile that does not have a number.
Okay, some of the non-functional requirements for this project is we wanted to have a user-friendly interface. The tile transition should be smooth and completed over the course of zero point 0.3 seconds. The timer should be running throughout the duration of any attempt that a user makes to complete the puzzle. So as long as they're playing, the timer should always be running, unless they pause the game or reset the board, in which case the timer will be reset. And then a congratulations prompt should appear for the user the moment they complete the puzzle, and it should tell them how much time they took to complete the puzzle and so they can try to get better times in the future if they choose to play the game again.
This is the game page. The game page is where users will be shown the 15 puzzle game. First, they need to pick a background picture before playing. All the user need to do is click on one of the pictures and click shuffle to begin the game. The timer will start, but the user can pause their gameplay at any time. And this is the tutorial page. Uh, if the user clicked the navigation bar that says tutorial page, it would take them to this one. And it really is just a layout of rules that can help better understand the user how to play the game. And right underneath is like a little GIF animation to better visualize how the game should be like.
Okay, so for our board creation and um, just the game board itself is handled by the initialize board function. So this function creates the puzzle board by dividing a 400 by 400 area into a grid of tiles based on the specified um, tile size by the user. So users will be able to choose between a 4 by 4 grid, a 6 by 6 grid, an 8 by 8 grid, finally a 10 by 10 grid. So when this function is creating the board, it's going to create the board with tiles of a certain width and certain height. That'll be specified based on um, the grid size that they choose. So if you choose a 4x4 grid, obviously the tiles for that grid are going to be a bit bigger and wider than if you were to choose a 10x10 grid, where the tiles will be smaller. The tiles will also interact with the background image that a user selects. So if you select the background image, that background image will be applied to the game board, and each tile will correspond to a section of that image. So um, the when the game board is shuffled, all those separate parts of the image will also be shuffled with each tile, and then this function will also be paying attention to the movement of different tiles and just the different interactions between uh, the game board and user input. So for movement throughout the board game, we have three tile functions that will be uh, evaluating the types of moves that a user is trying to make. So we have the move tile function, the can slide function, and the swap tile function. So the can slide function and swap tile functions are going to be the main functions for movement across the board. So the can slide function, what this function does is it evaluates if a tile is able to be moved. And this is indicated by tiles adjacent to the empty space tile. So 15 of these tiles will always be filled in, but there will always be a blank tile that indicates which tiles can be moved. So tiles around that tile will be the ones that users can interact with. And the can slide function just makes sure that um, the tile that you're trying to move is adjacent to the empty space tile. And then the swap tile function, what this will just do is swap any tile that a user interacts with. It'll just swap it with the empty tile. So this is meant to create the effect of the 15 puzzle. And then the move tile function will just be evaluating both of these and making sure that tiles can be moved. And it will also be evaluating if the game has been completed. And this is just to make sure that um, users don't end up in this like endless loop where the game just doesn't end and uh, the game doesn't give you your congratulations screen when the puzzle has been successfully solved. This is our shuffle function, so this will just basically be controlling the shuffling of the board, and this will also be integral to controlling our timer. So essentially, when a user clicks on the shuffle button on the game page, that will act as the starting point for the game. So it will randomly shuffle the puzzle and into a unique orientation, and the timer will start. Users will be able to shuffle the board as many times as they want. The timer will reset every time without fail, and uh, yeah, users will just be able to press this, and it'll give the random orientation, and the timer will be running the entire time.
Sadia, you're muted.
Oh my god, I was talking this whole time. Sorry.
It's
The
okay.
function grade change grade allows user to change the grade size of the puzzle by entering a new size. Uh, the function press int new size converts the user inputs and checks if the input is one of the allowed value, which are 4, 6, 8, or 10. And if the input does not match one of those values, the code um, will direct in the if block, and otherwise it will run to us, and you will say invalid to press to enter one of those given value. Next. Viviana, you're mute.
I'm sorry. This is the pause function page. The isPause variable acts as a flag to determine if the game is currently paused or not. The pause logic, if not isPause, stops the game timer using a clear interval. This disables the user interaction with tiles by setting their point event style to none. The resume logic, if isPause, resumes the game.
And here we just have some of our references, some of the sites we used, and now we're going to give a demonstration of how the overall product works.
As you can see, this is the game page. The screen is split into two sections. The game section is on the left, and the background, including the music, is at the right. There is a navigation bar that can take you to the tutorial. And this is the tutorial page. This really just helps users to understand the rules of the game. And at the bottom is like a little GIF animation to help them visualize what the gameplay will look like.
So the game will begin once the user selects any of the 4 images from selected background. And then with that, there's an option that says change grid. User will be able to change any grid size. So for example, if I click 6, the grid will change by 6 by 6. And if I enter an invalid value, it will prompt to saying it's invalid size, and then to enter a correct value.
Okay, so the game will begin whenever the shuffle button is selected. So if I click the shuffle button, you can see the timer starts to run and the board is randomly shuffled to a unique orientation. And users will be able to pause whenever they want to, and pausing will stop the timer. So if users need a moment to figure out a different strategy or just look at things before continuing, they can do so. And then whenever the shuffle button is clicked, like we said, the timer will begin again. It'll also reset the moves that were made. So if I make some moves, then press shuffle, move count goes to 0, as this is a new instance of the game being started. And like previously mentioned, we have 4 different options of puzzles to choose from. And the grid sizes will change the board. So difficulty, if 4x4 is too easy, you can go up to the different sizes. 10x10 being the max size that we have. For the sake of just showing the demonstration, we'll stick with the 4x4. So the goal is to get the image back to its original state. So in this instance, we have this image and this is the correct orientation. So if I shuffle it, my goal is to try and get this orientation back to its original state. And we made it a bit easier to accomplish by having the by having each of the tiles be numbered, so users will be able to tell the order that everything is supposed to go. I'm gonna cheat a bit just to show what the finished product looks like. So we're in the middle of a game. Um, this game we we didn't shuffle the board, but if I resume, the time will start going one move in, and all we have to do is move the 15th tile into the empty space. Doing so, we will be prompted with the congratulations screen, and it'll tell us how many seconds it took us to solve the puzzle. And then the moves are denoted right here. So a user will know how many moves it took them to solve the puzzle. And then we also, just as a finishing touch, we have some music that you can play. And that concludes our 15 puzzle game. Thank you.